Well, good evening. It's October 14th, 2012. And this is the Information Nation. I'm your host, Ken, on Orion Talk Radio, oriontalkradio.com, theinformationnation.com. Before we get with it tonight, I'd like to talk about a little experience that my wife and I had today. So much fun. So much BS. My wife's looking for a new cell phone. So we went over to T-Mobile, and she found this nice smartphone. The only thing is she doesn't want internet because she doesn't use it. She could care less about internet. She uses texting and uses it for a phone, but internet is a waste of money. Well, she can't have that phone. No, you cannot have that. That is not for you to have. You have to take one of these old flip phones. My wife looked at the guy and said, "You out of your mind?" She says, "I got a couple of those at home. I just want it for texting and for making phone calls." So he shows her this little bitty flip phone. She goes, "I'm having a hard enough time seeing my BlackBerry." See, that's one of the things when people get a little bit older, your eyesight starts to go a little bit. And I have the same problem with my BlackBerry. You can change the font and make it bigger, but then you're kind of looking at, okay, and now I got to scroll down. A-T, at. First word is at. So she wanted to get a nice little smartphone, and they won't let you have one. Well, why not, she asked. He says, well, you've got to have the internet. Why do I have to have the internet? Well, that's kind of the way it's set up. You can't have it without the internet. And we got to talking about it afterwards. And it's kind of like telling you that when you go buy a computer, they ask you, do you have internet at home? Well, no. Oh, well, I can't sell it to you then. You've got to have internet. Do you see the way that they're forcing you into being tracked? Even without you knowing it. They want to give you all these phones, with all the nice little GPS coordinates in there and all the tracking software and all the rest of it in there. And then they want to track you. So my wife decided to keep her BlackBerry, and we'll just continue on the way we are. But I challenge if any of you people out there work for a cell phone manufacturer, and it's a heck of a market because the market is growing. Older, a lot of people are getting older. Have them make a phone that looks just like a smartphone. Nice big screen on it, all the little, but it's only good for texting and voice. And I bet you would sell more phones than the rest of these clowns. I talk to people who have internet, oh yeah, I got internet on my phone. Yeah, I can do this and I can do that. How often do you use the internet? Oh, I don't know, maybe, 2 or 3 hours a week. Oh, that's worth an extra $50, $60 a month. Uh-huh. It's so important to be on the internet that you've got to have the internet on your cell phone. It's not to me. Personally, as far as I'm concerned, we can get rid of all telephone communications whatsoever and just go back to smoke signals. I don't care. I have 1,000 minutes on my cell phone, and let me see, this month is probably the biggest month that I've had in the last 6-7 months. I used 133 minutes. That was only because I was talking to somebody, my internet provider, and I didn't want to use the house phone. So I used my cell phone because that's the one tied to the account anyhow. So you see how much I talk on the telephone. I could care less. Matter of fact, during the week, it's more important for me to talk to you people than it is to talk to them other idiots. Because when you think about it, 133 minutes on my cell phone, and I speak to you for 120 minutes every week. That was 133 minutes for a month. So you people are more important than the people that I talk to on the cell phone anyhow. I don't worry about it. I don't care. I could care less about the internet on my cell phone. But anyhow, I thought I would bring that up. Now let's get to what we were going to talk about tonight. Hey, did you know that in 1984, Joe Biden proposed a freeze on Social Security? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wanted to freeze it back in 1984. Nobody had let him. This is the man who stands up there as vice president, and he's going to protect everything. I don't think this man could protect his butt from a fly. But just a little note, little side note I thought I'd throw in there. Yeah, the year was 1984, and Senator Joe Biden was sounding the alarm over Ronald Reagan's budget deficits. His proposal was co-sponsored by Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa and Nancy Kassenbaum, a Republican from Kansas. Included a one-year freeze on all federal spending, including Social Security, no cost of living increase, and defense, no pay increase for the troops. You know what's kind of funny about that? They did that over the last couple of years. They froze Social Security. The elderly didn't get any cost of living raises. Now the new one that's coming out, the latest thing they're going to announce shortly is about a 1.3% increase in people's Social Security because the cost of living hasn't really gone up. You know, there's really not been that big of an increase. Why don't you try going to the store? Why don't you try going to the store and tell that to some of the mothers that are in there with small kids when they go to buy milk and all the rest of it, and they kind of look at their food bill at the end of the month and they go, holy crap, I used to spend $350. Now I'm spending $450 and I'm getting less food. Wow. But there's no there's no increase in the cost of living. Nah. That doesn't matter whatsoever because they're not paying it anyhow. We're paying for their cost of living increases. I think very plainly that when wages are frozen and they got to cut back on things and everything else, we got to cut their wages. We should turn around. If you're going to freeze all the wages for all the people, we're going to freeze Congress's wages. I mean, for crying out loud, you're making $176,000 a year. You don't need that kind of money. On top of that, you get your living expenses and you get your, what do they call it, your expense account and all the rest of that, so you can set up your offices and all the rest of it. So what do you need that kind of money for? I'll tell you the truth. We ought to cut their wages altogether. You get nothing. You get absolutely nothing. Bare bones minimum. If the average income in this country is $50,000 a year, that's all you get. That's all you get. You get $50,000 a year. And any money that you don't spend out of your expense account goes back into the Treasury. Now, that sounds like a pretty good plan to me, because you see right now, if they pay the taxes on it, they get to keep it. I don't know of anybody, I don't know, maybe big corporations where you're the CEO, you get to keep your expense account. Yeah, that'll go over like a fart in an elevator full of midgets. But this is what they do. So what can you say? Hey, NASA's Mars rover found rocks with Earth-like chemistry. They didn't have to send that up there. I could have told them they were going to find that. But they're all, these guys are all running around, all excited about they found a rock. Wow. And it has Earth-like chemistry. Well, I don't really believe in the Big Bang Theory. But if it did happen the way you guys think, and there was this gigantic bang, and all this stuff was created in this big furnace, don't you think you would find elements all over the universe that would match the elements here on Earth? Just a thought, call me crazy. But don't you think you'd find those all over the universe? Thinking, well, hey, we might find water somewhere. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. If water was part of the Big Bang, if it coalesced or did whatever, the vapors did whatever, why wouldn't you find it? Why wouldn't you find something like that? Makes sense to me. Difference between scientists and politicians and the average person is the average person uses a little common sense. Hey, if one guy on this planet cuts himself and he bleeds, wouldn't you think that another guy would bleed also? If everybody is breathing air, don't you think that, air is one of the things that keep you alive? Not with these guys. They're always looking for life on other planets. Why don't you try finding intelligent life in Washington, D.C.? Now, there would be a find. There would be a real find. Intelligent life in Washington, D.C. But no, we can't do that. We're going to spend hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to send a little Mars rover up there to find a rock. Hey, we have returned. How about that? Wow, they haven't shut us down yet. Oh, they'll get around to it sooner or later. Hey, this is Ken for the Information Nation on the Orion Talk Radio Network, OrionTalkRadio.com, theinformationnation.com, all these .coms running around. Well, as everybody may or may not know, we have an investigation going on to the Libya fiasco. It was all due to a video. We all know that. Well, Representative Trey Gowdy kind of exploded at the Libyan hearing. So let's listen to Representative Gowdy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, for almost a year, there was an escalating pattern of violence directed towards the United States and other Western targets in Libya. Attacks on the consulate in Benghazi, attacks and assassination attempts on the British ambassador, attacks on the International Red Cross, attacks on courthouses, judges assassinated, culminating on September the 11th in the murder of 4 Americans, including our ambassador to Libya. Before those 4 murders, Mr. Chairman, just a few weeks before that, our embassy in Libya said this to the Department of State: the security condition in Libya remains unpredictable, volatile, and violent. So, Mr. Chairman, despite what would appear to any reasonably objective observer as an escalating pattern of violence, including sophistication, coordination, and management, this administration blamed the murder of our ambassador and 3 others on a video. Don't take my word for it, Mr. Chairman. Let's look at what Ambassador Rice herself said. Our current assessment is that what happened in Benghazi was, quote, in fact, initially a spontaneous reaction. I don't know what the phrase in fact means in diplomatic legalese. I can tell you what it means in a courtroom, Mr. Chairman. It means it's a fact. And she went on national television and she said, not as this ambassador has said, that I'm not going to speculate, that I've got to get all the information. She said, in fact, this was a spontaneous reaction to what had just transpired hours before in Cairo, almost a copycat of the demonstrations against our facility in Cairo, which were prompted, of course, Mr. Chairman, by a video, is what she said. And then she proceeds to say the attack was spontaneous. I can think of few things, Mr. Chairman, more antithetical to spontaneity than a 12-month-long prologue of violence in Libya. And then she said she relied solely and squarely on the information the intelligence community provided. Mr. Chairman, I would like to have another hearing where we can ask Ambassador Rice under oath, who told you what when? You're going to blame the intelligence committee? You come before this committee and you tell us who told you it was a video. Who in the intelligence community said it? Who in the diplomatic community blamed this on a video? And then we move to Jay Carney, who's the spokesperson for the leader of the free world. This is what he said, Mr. Chairman. I'm saying based on information that our initial information that includes all information, we saw no evidence to back up claims by others that this was a pre-planned or premeditated attack. What we saw was evidence that it was sparked by the reaction to this video. And that is what we know thus far based on evidence, concrete evidence, close quote. Mr. Chairman, you know that in former life, I spent a little time in the courtroom. So when I hear the phrase concrete evidence, it means something to me. That's even stronger language than simply saying something is in fact. So 2 representatives of this administration gave demonstrably false statements, not just to us, but to our fellow citizens on national television. Now, is the explanation for those demonstrably false statements, as my colleague from Florida just asked, was it negligence? Was it just a reckless disregard for the truth? Or was it more nefarious than that? Mr. Chairman, the American people are reasonable. People understand investigations take time. People don't expect you to speculate until you have all the facts. What they will not forgive, Mr. Chairman, is being misled. We want our questions answered, and I want them answered by the people that went out before the American people and sought to mislead them by blaming this on a video when there is no evidence, concrete or otherwise, to support the assertions made by this administration. Mr. Chairman, I just had a conversation with Jason Chaffetz out back, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. He still gets emotional talking about what he saw in Libya. There were 4 brave Americans who died under circumstances that we can scarcely fathom. The terror, the fear, the anarchy of being killed in that fashion. They did what their country asked them to do. They stood post under dangerous circumstances even after requests for security were denied. They stood their post. The least we can do is stand this meager post that we've been assigned and demand that this administration speak the truth to the people it's supposed to serve. This was never about a video. It was never spontaneous. This is terror. And I want to know why we were lied to. And I yield back.
Yeah, I'd like to know why we were lied to also. You know, it's amazing. Of course, they called that an explosion. He ought to tune in some nights when I explode. This is a cover-up, ladies and gentlemen. Any way you want to look at it, it's a cover-up. They knew what was coming. They denied these people simple protections. That's basically, that is the number one job of the Marine Corps. Protect the embassies, protect American lives. And when they ask for more protection, what did they get? No, you're not going to get any more. In the meantime, the State Department has confirmed that the Marines on 9/11/2012 were protecting the U.S. Embassy in Barbados. While terrorists attacked the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya on September 11th of this year and killed the U.S. ambassador and 3 other Americans, there were no Marines deployed in Libya to defend the U.S. diplomats, diplomatic facilities, or classified information and equipment. However, says the State Department, a Marine security detachment was deployed on that day to carry out those duties at the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown, Barbados. Don't people go to Barbados for vacation? What kind of deal is it? You know, basically, Hillary Clinton, you want to be gone. Obama right now should ask for your resignation. Get out. You're useless. You're nothing but a useless globalist. And as a matter of fact, if he asks you to leave, take him with you. Because he's nothing more than a useless globalist. We have been lied to by this administration time and time and time again. And nobody seems to be doing anything. I mean, at least this guy got a little bit upset. If it had been me sitting up there as a representative, I'd have been throwing crap, man. There would have been papers flying and books flying and pens and pencils flying, and I'll tell you, I probably would have thrown the microphone at somebody. This is outrageous. This is so outrageous that you pull the Marines out of Libya and send them to Barbados. Why in the hell didn't you just send them down to Key West, Florida? Send them down to the Florida Keys. They can protect the kids out there on spring break. What a load of garbage. This is what the American people are putting up with. This is what you are getting from your government. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't take your government back, it's just going to continue. If you were listening in the previous hour to Joe Joseph's show and to the stuff that he told you, basically the same stuff. You're going to lose it all. And we got more coming up this on not just on Libya, but on something else. Hey, this is the Information Nation. I'm your host, Ken, live on Orion Talk Radio. OrionTalkRadio.com, theinformationnation.com. I talked a little earlier about smartphones, and if you do happen to have a smartphone, you can get a TuneIn app. You can download the software. It's free, and then search for Orion Talk Radio. Save us as a preset, and you can listen to Orion anytime, anywhere. Yeah, just go to TuneIn, get the app. For crying out loud, don't be fooling around with this stuff. Get serious, get informed, get upset, get aggravated. We were talking about Libya, and I said when they went after Gaddafi that they were going to have nothing but problems with this country. The people didn't want this. And it's amazing what the governments do. They go in and they push their agenda on everybody else. And what do you get out of it? You get turmoil. Although you do get the banksters in there. They're in there running around. But it does no good for the people. Sanctions are the same thing. You put sanctions on another country, and it doesn't hurt their leaders. It hurts the people. So why do we do it? Because people don't matter. And I'll tell you how much they don't matter. Maybe you remember a little thing where Barack Obama was running around and Hillary Clinton was running around laughing about how we got Oh, we got bin Laden. Oh, yeah, we got bin Laden. It was pretty good. It took them 12 years to kill a guy who'd been dead for 11 years. Because there are reports that he died in 2001 in October from kidney failure. And it took them 11 years to track down a guy who was already dead so they could kill him again. But what's interesting is the SEAL team, SEAL Team 6. And I'm not going to bring it to you from me. I'm going to bring you this from one of the SEAL team's mothers. Give this a listen.
Aaron called me. His tone was extremely serious. And he said, Mom, you need to wipe your social media clean. Get rid of everything, any reference of me or my buddies, because there's chatter. And all of our lives are possibly in danger, including yours.
Defense Secretary Robert Gates is very concerned too much classified information has gotten out.
We all agreed that we would not release any operational details from the effort to take out bin Laden. That all fell apart the next day.
Navy SEALs and what they did last Sunday.
How dare they? They put a target on my son's back and even on my back. But a little over 90 days later, my son was dead.
National security leaks threaten American lives. We need leaders who understand that. Veterans for a Strong America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Yeah, how about that? 24 hours after the raid, there's Biden in front of a group of people at a dinner talking about SEAL Team 6. Talking about how they took out bin Laden. And 90 days later, this woman's son was dead. Where is the congressional investigation on this? Why are our congresspeople, our congressmen, our senators, why are they not jumping up and down on this thing, screaming and hollering, dragging people out by their short hairs from the White House, putting them in a seat and grilling them? And if you have to waterboard them. But no, we're not going to do that. We're concerned about what happened in Benghazi because that was a diplomat. Oh, we had a diplomat killed. We had SEAL Team 6 killed, man. These are the guys that go out there and do the shit that you ain't got the balls to do yourself. Now you got a woman who's without a son because we got an idiot for a vice president and another idiot for a president, and another idiot as Secretary of State, leaking classified information. But that's not important. That's not important. We got to find out what happened in Libya to our ambassador. Yeah, when one of your own gets killed, you're screaming and hollering. But boy, don't let it happen. If it happens to one of us, kind of gets swept under the rug. Where in the hell is the outrage from Congress on this one? This guy knew what he was talking about, told his mother, there's chatter. These guys aren't idiots that you got out there. They are in no way, shape, or form are they idiots. They know exactly what's going on. And within 90 days, he was dead. And this woman is scared for her life. And where in the hell is Congress? Where in the hell is Congress finding out who the traitor is? That's right, traitor. Who leaked this information? Where's he at? Get him. Lock him up. Try him for treason, for high treason. And if found guilty, take him, put him against the wall, and let somebody from SEAL Team 5 shoot him. I don't really care. It's always when one of theirs gets killed that there's a big investigation and there's outrage. Where's the outrage for this woman who's minus her son, or all the mothers and fathers out there who are minus their kids? They don't have their kids anymore. Because some asshat in the White House leaked information. My question is this: why in the hell did they attack the ambassador in Libya? Why in the hell didn't they attack the idiot in the White House? It's never the wealthy or the connected that end up at the bottom of the crap pile. It's always the average American citizen. This is what outrage is. When you get outraged, you should be dragging people by the scruff of their neck and planting them in a chair and telling them, if you get out of that chair, I'm coming over there, I'm going to knock you right back in it. You are going to answer my questions if we've got to stay here for the next 5 days, and I don't want any of your political let's dance around the issue bullshit. You're going to answer me straightforward, or by God, I'm going to knock your teeth out. But this is what goes on in Washington. Then you have a debate, a vice presidential debate, and Biden's sitting there laughing. That's because he's too stupid to do anything else. That's normally the sign of a very ignorant, stupid individual, because they sit there and they laugh at the facts. We're going to get down and dirty on this stuff. We have a lot more kids killed. A lot more of our kids are going to die for what? To make rich people richer and the poor people poorer. My buddy over at the Sound of Freedom, Ryan Brooks, says it all the time. It's nothing more than sending poor people to kill poor people. And if you think that's not the fact, you ask any veteran of any war and you'll find out it's the absolute truth. We're not going after the politicians who send us off to war. You go in there and the guy you may be killing is probably no better off than you are. It's just an average guy doing what some elite bastard has told him to do. I get a little aggravated about this. Just a little bit. Because it's a distraction from a lot of the things that are going on in this country that we should not be distracted from. We should not be distracted from the fact that they are taking our rights away. Obama turned around and said Al-Qaeda was falling apart. We got bin Laden. Al-Qaeda is now falling apart. They're irrelevant. Well, if they are so damn irrelevant, why are you spending all of this money on the TSA? Why are you spending all of this money militarizing the police forces in all major cities? Gee, if they're that irrelevant, don't you think it's time we dismantle the TSA? We don't need them anymore. What do we need TSA for? They've never caught anything. I don't think those guys could catch a cold. The only thing they're good for is stealing stuff out of your luggage. Oh, yeah, we've come back. Why? Because we can. It's Ken for the Information Nation. Live on Orion Talk Radio. OrionTalkRadio.com, theinformationnation.com. You'll love this kind of idiocracy running around in the United States. A mom who glued her toddler's hands to the wall gets 99 years. This is from Dallas, CBS in Dallas-Fort Worth. A North Texas mom who pled guilty to gluing her toddler daughter's hands to the wall, kicking her in the stomach, and beating her over potty training issues has been sentenced to 99 years in prison. It was up to the state district judge, Larry Mitchell, to decide how long Elizabeth Escalona would spend behind bars. For days, the judge heard from medical experts, police, family members, and the Dallas County District Attorney's Office showed dozens of pictures of little Jocelyn Cedillo. The photos taken at the hospital showed bruises from the child's head down to her feet. The injuries included hair torn from her scalp, bruising on her forehead, nose, cheek, and what appeared to be bite marks on her body. Well, here you go, Mom.
First at 4, a judge comes down hard on a mother who beat her toddler after gluing the child's hands to the wall. After days of testimony and tears, the judge handed down a sentence that's even more harsh than prosecutors requested. CBS 11's Robbie Owens was in the courtroom and has this report.
According to court testimony, Elizabeth Escalona was molested by her father, abused drugs, became a mother at 14, and gravitated to men who beat her.
And again, outside of the context of this trial, I think even the state would find you to be a sympathetic figure, because they prosecute people for what was done to you.
But Escalona's tormentors weren't on trial. The 23-year-old mother of 5 admitted to gluing her 2-year-old's hands to the wall and beating her because of a potty training issue.
She is no monster. She can be redeemed. She can be helped.
Defense attorney Angie Nduka asked for probation, but prosecutors countered that bad situations don't excuse bad choices.
If a stranger had done it, we wouldn't hesitate. But it's not a stranger, it's Jocelyn's mother. It's Jocelyn's mother. It's the one person who was put here to keep her safe.
In spite of what the judge called heartbreaking evidence on both sides, the facts on this day came down to this.
You savagely beat your child to the edge of death. For this, you must be punished. Please stand. I find you guilty of the offense charged. I'll set your sentence at confinement in the penitentiary for a period of 99 years. The sentence goes into effect today.
The 99-year sentence means Escalona will spend a minimum of 30 years behind bars before becoming eligible for parole. Defense attorneys are already planning an appeal. At the Frank Crowley Courts building in downtown Dallas, Robbie Owens, CBS 11 News.
Why would you possibly want to appeal that? Let her sit and rot. Let her sit and rot. I don't know about the rest of you people out there, but I have no use for somebody who would deliberately do that to a child. That's as bad as these people out there that are raping their own daughters or their own sons, however you want to put it. It's like people out there that beat a puppy. These children are like puppies, man. They don't know what's going on. You're there to protect them. As far as I'm concerned, I would have taken her out and shot her in the backyard. Let her dead body lay there for a while and say, this is what we do to people that abuse their children to this extent, or to any extent. You know, there's a difference between disciplining a child, spanking a child, and this. They should take those pictures and this bimbo to the international court and charge her with torture. We treat prisoners of war better than this. And they're all upset, and they're going to appeal the case because, you know, they think the sentence was too harsh. Yeah, put her in front of me and see what she'd have gotten. Life in prison without parole. You can't be trusted around people. And what do? You remove this type of element from society. Anybody that would beat their child like this, glue their hands to the wall, this woman is I'm not even going to call her sick. I'm going to call her perverted, because that's what she is. She thinks this is discipline. And if there's any young people out there listening and you're complaining about dad who just grounded you for a week, shut up. He didn't glue your hands to the wall and beat you half to death. Think of the difference of where you could be. Your father and your mother are trying to teach you a lesson, and they're doing it in a well-mannered, respectable way that other parents would agree with. They're trying to teach you how to stay out of trouble. But this woman here is a scum of the earth. I rank her right underneath them scum-sucking bottom feeders that we have in Washington. To beat a kid like this. And then they always try to make the nice issue. Well, you know, she was a parent at 14, and she's got 5 kids, and she's 23 years old. And where was the system back then? Where was the system that these people are so emotional about when she was 14 years old? You didn't try to teach her anything when she was 14? You just let her continue on? And now that she's 24 or 25 and she's got 5 kids and she just beat one of them and glued their hands to the wall, now all of a sudden your compassion is coming out? Where was your compassion when she was 14? Where was the fact that you could have taken her at 14 years old and even with her child taught her that she didn't need to gravitate to people who abused her, that she could become something with her, do something with her life, that her life was worth saving. But no, now you're worried about it because she just got 99 years in prison. This is the system that we have in this country. They worry about everything after the fact. After the fact. That's when we're going to worry about it. After somebody beats their kid half to death. After some football player has a dog fighting club at his house. After the fact that the ambassador is killed. Now we're going to turn around and we're going to blame it on some video. After the fact that somebody leaked information in Washington and now the whole damn SEAL Team 6 is dead and their parents are worried about if they're going to survive. After the fact. It's always after the fact. When are we going to do something before the fact? When are we going to do something when something can be done, not when it's too late? We always we don't act in this country, we react. We react to a situation. Somebody abuses their kids, we react to that. And then we get the sympathy vote out there. No, you can't do that to her. She had a rough life. Yeah, who hasn't? Tell me any individual out there who has not had rough times in their life. And we're all not out there gluing our kids' hands to the wall and beating them. And we're all not taking trips all over the world on taxpayers' expense and laughing about what goes on around the world. We have too many people in this country that are willing to stick their nose in your business when it doesn't count, but they won't do it when it does count. We never needed to stick our nose into Libya, but we did. And look at the end result. Look at the end game that's going on over there now, throughout the whole Middle East. And then they lie to us. And it's kind of like what's going on in this court case here. Show some leniency. We can do something with her. Obviously you can't, because you haven't done anything for this woman since she was 14 years old. What are you going to do for her now? And if you did try to do something for her and it didn't take, then I'm sorry. After a while, you just have to wash your hands at a situation and say, I'm sorry, you got what you deserved. When we come back, we're going to talk about drugs. I'm not talking about the joint that you get a dime bag for and sit at home and roll. I'm talking about prescription drugs. We're going to get to those in the second hour, right after we cover a little something from J.P. Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo. And I think you'll find it interesting and entertaining. And I don't think very many of you are going to be laughing about it, though. But you'll tend to understand a little bit more why you have people that get addicted to prescription drugs. Hour number 2 of the Information Nation. I'm your host, Ken, right here on Orion Talk Radio. OrionTalkRadio.com, TheInformationNation.com. Hey, if you're interested, you can go to TheInformationNation.com. Click on the link that says Chat with the Nation, and you'll be in the chat room with a lot of other good people there. And enjoy yourself. Enjoy the conversations. Before I get into prescription drugs, I've got one other thing that I'd like to cover with you, and that's called the booming banks say consumers may not see lower mortgage rates. Two of my favorite banks, J.P. Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo, two of the nation's largest lenders, said Friday they won't make home loans much cheaper for consumer, even if they report booming profits from their mortgage business. Those bottom lines have been padded by federal initiatives, particularly by the Federal Reserve, which is trying to encourage Americans to buy homes with cheap rates. But the statement from the two banking giants illustrate the limits of the government's reach to stimulate the economy, and that its policies may generate more benefits for banks than borrowers. No kidding. Gee, they must think we're stupid. The government can't force banks to give out loans at lower rates any more than they can force Macy's to sell me sheets for $1, said Karen Petro-Shaw, managing partner at the consulting firm Federal Financial Analytics. Since the Fed announced it would pump $40 billion a month to stimulate the mortgage lending rates have trickled down. But banking analysts say the cost of making the loans has fallen much more, significantly boosting bank profits. Banks have said that they are overwhelmed by the demand right now, giving them little reason to lower rates further. However, that volume will eventually thin out, researchers at the Mortgage Bankers Association say. Still, banking executives at Wells Fargo and J.P. Morgan said that the decline in demand may not prompt them to lower rates. One official added that he even expects mortgage rates to rise next year. Timothy Sloan, chief financial officer at Wells Fargo, told analysts on a conference call Friday that lowering rates would be a good decision from a profit standpoint. Would not be a good decision from a profit standpoint. Asked whether the company was concerned about losing market share once demand for refinancing declined, he said, "We won't run the business based on share. We run the business based on profitability." If you had not gotten the money from the American people, you son of a bitch, you'd be out of business. Or maybe you wouldn't have been. Was that all another one of these little blowjobs we get from you people every now and then? You know, you blow so much crap at us. Oh, we're too big to fail. No, you're not. I would have just as soon seen a corporate raider go in there, take you people and rip you apart because you're too big not to fail. I remember when I was younger, they ripped apart Ma Bell. Remember that? And everybody was screaming and hollering, "Oh, Ma Bell, oh, the service is going to drop, and we're going to have this, and we're going to have..." All the fear factors came out. And they're more profitable now today than they were then. So why did we bail out the banks? Could it be to pay off some people? Seems like it to me. I mean, for crying out loud, they were getting ready to go out of business anyhow, and then we turned around and pumped all of these hundreds of billions of dollars into them, and gee, we didn't get a thank you, a pat on the head, a kiss, a reach around. We didn't get a damn thing. The only thing that we got from them was, well, good, now we can pay ourselves bonuses. But other than that, we didn't get a damn thing from them. The only reason they're not charging us 50 or 60% mortgage rates right now is because of the fact that somebody would eventually storm them people. But I'm willing to bet they could put them up to 8, 9% and nobody'd say squat, especially out of this gutless wonders we have in Washington. Oh, they might turn around and have some phony baloney investigation. That's about all they're good for. Nobody ever goes to jail and these kind of things. But let some little guy do something, and boy, I'll tell you then, they will lock him up and throw away the key. So anyhow, as I had said, I wanted to talk some about prescription drugs. Prescription drugs, you know, you hear about it all the time. You know, Elvis Presley was addicted to prescription drugs. Rush Limbaugh was addicted to prescription drugs. You hear about all these people that are addicted to prescription drugs. They get that way. You know, they have something, they have pain, they take a prescription for it, and then they just keep on taking more and more until they get addicted to them. Then they have to go into a rehab facility and get off the drugs. But let's look at something. Let's start looking at some of these drugs, like Cymbalta. Cymbalta is for treatment of major depression disorder. It was established in 4 short-term and 1 maintenance trial for adults. Cymbalta is indicated for treatment of generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, and it's also indicated for management of diabetic peripheral neuropathic pain and fibromyalgia. Cymbalta is indicated for management of chronic musculoskeletal pain due to chronic osteoarthritis pain and chronic lower back pain. Okay. It's a pain reliever, and it's supposed to help you through depression. But when you see these things on TV, when you see the advertisements on TV, do you ever listen really close to what they say? Especially when they come to the part of possible side effects. This is supposed to treat depression, but the most important information you should know about Cymbalta, antidepressants can increase suicidal thoughts and behavior in children, teens, and young adults. Suicide is a known risk of depression and some other psychiatric disorders. And they say call your doctor right away and if you start getting depressed while you're taking an antidepressant. That doesn't make any sense. I'm taking an antidepressant and I'm going to kill myself. Okay, so why is this still on the market? Profits. Cymbalta is not for everyone. Do not take Cymbalta if you have recently taken a type of antidepressant called monoamine oxidase inhibitor, MAOI, or thioridazine, have uncontrolled narrow angle glaucoma, increased eye pressure. There's more. Before taking Cymbalta, talk with your healthcare provider about your medical conditions, including kidney or liver problems, glaucoma, diabetes, seizures, or if you have bipolar disorder. Cymbalta may worsen a type of glaucoma or diabetes. About all your prescription and non-prescription medicines, potentially life-threatening conditions, as have been reported when Cymbalta was taken with certain drugs for migraine, mood, or psychotic disorders. If you are taking NSAIDs, pain relievers, aspirin, blood thinners used with Cymbalta may increase bleeding risk. Talk about your alcohol abuse. Your alcohol use. I'm sorry, it does not say abuse, it says use. About your blood pressure. Cymbalta may increase your blood pressure. Your healthcare provider should check your blood pressure prior to and while taking Cymbalta. If you are pregnant or plan to become pregnant during therapy or are breastfeeding, you see it gets mixed in with the breast milk, then you can get your newborn hooked on an antidepressant. Well, there's more. If that's not enough, there's more. Let's see what else they got. While taking Cymbalta, talk to your healthcare provider right away. If you have itching, right upper belly pain, dark urine, yellow skin, eyes, or unexplained flu-like symptoms, which may be signs of liver problems, severe liver problems, sometimes fatal, have been reported. If you have a high fever, confusion, or stiff muscles. Hey, we're back. This is Ken for the Information Nation on Orion Talk Radio, OrionTalkRadio.com, theinformationnation.com, and we were talking about Cymbalta. Yes, something to help you with your depression. I'm so depressed. While taking Cymbalta, talk to your healthcare provider right away. And we were covering the topics there. If you have skin blisters, serious or peeling rashes, hives, mouth sore, or any other allergic reaction, these may be serious, possibly life-threatening skin reactions. If you experience dizziness or fainting upon standing, this tends to occur the first week or when increasing the dose, but may occur at any time during treatment. If you experience headache, weakness, confusion, problems concentrating, memory problems, or feel unsteady, which may be sign of low sodium levels, okay. If you develop a problem with urine flow, most common side effects from Cymbalta, and this is not a complete list: nausea, dry mouth, sleepiness, fatigue, constipation, dizziness, decreased appetite, and increased sweating. So great, you won't be able to go to the bathroom, you'll be nausea, you'll want to throw up, but you won't be able to, you'll have dry mouth, and you'll smell bad. And this is to treat you for depression. But then we've got another depression drugs. If you don't like Cymbalta, you can go to Prozac. Yeah, it's a treatment for depression and obsessive compulsive disorders, bothersome thoughts that won't go away, and the need to perform certain actions over and over. Some eating disorders and panic attacks, sudden unexpected attacks of extreme fear, and worry about these attacks. And it's used to relieve symptoms of premenstrual dysphoric disorder, including mood swings, irritability, bloating, and breast tenderness. So any of you guys out there, if you got breast tenderness, take some Prozac. But let's see what it does for you. It's supposed to treat depression and obsessive compulsive disorder. And what can you get from this? You can get abnormal dreams, anxiety, decreased sexual desire or ability. Diarrhea, dizziness, drowsiness, dry mouth, flu-like symptoms, flushing, increased sweating, loss of appetite, nausea, nervousness, runny nose, sore throat, stomach upset, trouble sleeping, weakness, yawning. Seek medical attention right away if any of these severe side effects occur when using Prozac. Severe allergic reactions, rash, hives, itching, difficulty breathing, tightness in the chest, swelling of the mouth, face, lips, or tongue, usually hoarseness, bizarre behavior. That hits every host on Orion. Black or bloody stools, chest pain, confusion, decreased concentration, decreased coordination. That hits every host on Orion. Exaggerated reflexes, excessive sweating, fainting, fast or irregular heartbeat, fever, chills, or sore throat. Hallucinations, increased hunger, thirst, or urination. Excessive sweating, fainting, increased hunger, thirst, or urination. Okay. Joint or wrist aches or pain, memory loss. What was I talking about? New or worsening agitation, panic attacks. Oh my gosh, aggressiveness, impulsiveness, irritability, hostility, exaggerated feeling of well-being, restlessness or inability to sit still, persistent or severe ringing in the ears, persistent painful erection, red, swollen, blistered, or peeling skin, seizures, severe or persistent anxiety, trouble sleeping or weakness, severe or persistent nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or headaches of significant weight loss, stomach pain, suicidal thoughts or attempts, tremor, trouble urinating, unusual bruising or bleeding, unusual or severe mental or mood changes, unusual swelling, unusual weakness, vision changes, worsening of depression. You're taking an antidepressant and your depression is going to get worse. Do you think that they're making a buck off of this? I mean, just, call me silly, but it sounds to me like they're giving you a drug that's going to give you more crap wrong with you than was wrong with you when you started taking the drugs, and they're making a buck off of this. I find that extremely interesting. I think I would rather have the depression. I think might just be better off let the guy smoke a joint and the hell with it. He'll no longer be depressed. He'll just be very mellow. And he'll get the munchies, maybe take a nap. That beats the hell out of this. They keep on pumping all these chemicals into us. And look at the side effects. But that's just the depressants. Let's talk about everybody's favorite drug. Viagra. All medicines may cause side effects, but many people have no or minor side effects. Check with your doctor if any of these common side effects persist or become bothersome when using Viagra. Diarrhea, dizziness, flushing, headache, heartburn, stuffy nose, upset stomach. Seek medical attention right away if any of these severe side effects occur while using Viagra. Severe allergic reaction, rash, hives, itching, difficulty breathing, tightness in chest, swelling of mouth, face, lips, or tongue, chest pain, fainting, fast or irregular heartbeat, memory loss, numbness of the arm or leg, one-sided weakness, painful or prolonged erection, ringing in the ears, seizure, severe or persistent dizziness, severe or persistent vision. Changes, sudden decrease or loss of hearing, sudden decrease or loss of vision in one or both eyes. Hey, guess what? You can walk around with a 4-hour erection, but you're blind. And you'll have diarrhea. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to pay to pharmaceutical companies this kind of money? You talk about taking your life in your own hands. And these are all FDA-approved drugs. So is it worth it? And it's getting better all the time. How about managing your cholesterol with Lipitor? Lipitor. And it's to help lower your cholesterol. And we won't make it through all of this, because there is a long list of stuff that can happen to you. But Lipitor tablets can cause serious side effects. Oh, wait a minute. I missed that little part. Let's go back up here. Do not take Lipitor tablets if you are pregnant or thinking you may become pregnant or planning to become pregnant. Lipitor may harm your unborn baby. Really? If you get pregnant, stop taking Lipitor and call your doctor right away. Our breastfeeding, Lipitor can pass into the breast milk and may harm your baby. You have liver problems, allergic to Lipitor, or any of its ingredients. The active ingredient is atorvastatin. So, when you think about it, that doesn't seem to be working too well, and I'm pretty sure there are some normal homeopathic drugs in nature that can lower your cholesterol. And when we come back from the break, because we're rolling up to that pretty fast right now, we're going to talk about the possible side effects of Lipitor. Little things like kidney failure and, swelling of the face, lip. They seem to all have this swelling of the face, lips, tongue, and or throat that may cause difficulty in breathing or swallowing, which may require treatment right away. This is just to lower your cholesterol. All right, we've returned. This is Ken for the Information Nation on Orion Talk Radio. OrionTalkRadio.com, theinformationnation.com. Let's talk a little bit more about Lipitor. What are the possible side effects of Lipitor? Well, how about muscle problems? Lipitor can cause serious muscle problems that can lead to kidney problems, including kidney failure. And you have a higher chance of muscle problems if you are taking certain other medications with Lipitor. How about liver problems? Lipitor can cause liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check your liver before you start taking Lipitor and while you take it. What else have you got? Call your doctor right away if you have a muscle problem like weakness, tenderness, or pain that happens without a good reason, especially if you have a fever or feel more tired than usual. If you have allergic reactions, including swelling of the face, lips, tongue, and or throat that may cause difficulty in breathing or swallowing, which may require treatment right away. Yeah, no shit. You experience nausea and vomiting. You pass brown or dark-colored urine. You feel more tired than usual. Your skin and whites of your eyes get yellow. You have stomach pain. You have an allergic skin reaction. In clinical study, patients reported the following common side effects while taking Lipitor: diarrhea, upset stomach, muscle and joint pain. Okay, tiredness, tendon problems. That is, I think I'd rather live with the high cholesterol. But then you have another one. You have Adderall, a combination of two drugs, which is dextroamphetamine and amphetamine, used as part of a treatment program to control symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, more difficult focusing, controlling actions, and remaining still or quiet. Never mind. Anyhow, let's get on to this thing. Everybody knows what it is. It's an amphetamine. And it's for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. This is what some of this stuff is what they pump your kids full of. All medicines may cause side effects, but many people have no or minor side effects. Check with your doctor if any of the most common side effects persist or become bothersome while using Adderall. Constipation, diarrhea. I guess it can't make up its mind. Dizziness, dry mouth, headache, loss of appetite, nausea, nervousness, restlessness, stomach pain, or upset, stomach pain or upset, trouble sleeping, or an unpleasant taste, vomiting, weakness, weight loss. Well, if you vomit, you've got an unpleasant taste in your mouth. Seek medical attention right away if any of these severe side effects occur while using Adderall. Severe allergic reactions, rash, hives, itching, difficulty breathing, tightness in chest, swelling of the mouth, face, lips, or tongue, blurred vision, or other vision problems. Change in sexual ability or desire. Chest pain, confusion, fainting, fast or irregular heartbeat, fever, chills, or sore throat. New or worsening mental or mood problems. I thought that's what this was supposed to take care of. Okay. Aggression, agitation, anxiety, delusions, depressions, hallucinations, hostility, numbness or tingling in arm or leg, one-sided weakness, painful or frequent urination, red, swollen, peeling, or blistered skin, seizures, severe or persistent headaches, severe stomach pain, severe weight loss, shortness of breath, sudden severe dizziness or vomiting, slurred speech, uncontrolled muscle movement, unusual weakness, or tiredness. Okay. They're giving people an amphetamine for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Does anybody else see anything wrong with this? But we're getting into one now that you're just going to love. Ambien. And Ambien is a wonderful drug.
You're one of the millions of Americans who take Ambien for a good night's sleep. Some doctors are raising awareness about its side effects. Just last week, news correspondent Tom Brokaw made headlines when he was hospitalized for reportedly feeling lightheaded on set after taking Ambien. Dr. Siegel, all the fuss about the pill, there's people that rely on it. They don't get sleep otherwise. What should they do?
You know, Jamie, that story with Tom Brokaw really put attention on this, and I'm really glad, because the point, and we've just made it in the previous segment, do you need these pills? What about your sleep hygiene? What else might you be doing wrong? Are you sleeping in a dark room? Are you having caffeine, wine, alcohol before you go to sleep? You know, what disciplines are you using to get yourself to sleep on a regular basis? These drugs are supposed to be used on a short-term basis, but a lot of people end up using them chronically. I'm talking Ambien, Lunesta, Sonata. And a lot of studies show that they don't even extend sleep more than about a half hour, longer than you thought you were going to get. And it takes about the same amount of time to fall asleep, whether you took these pills or not. Now, they work for some people, Jamie. They work for some people. But we're talking 60 million prescriptions last year written for these. That's a lot. And they're called sedative hypnotics, which means you can walk in your sleep, you can get confused the next day, you can wake up and
drive the car.
You can drive the car. There's a story about someone that was cooking, don't know how they got to the stove. This is exactly why. That wasn't me, David.
But why is that allowed? Why is a drug on the market that could allow you to literally, what if you smoke in your sleep and you light the house on fire? I mean, it seems so dangerous. Does it happen with the other sleeping medications?
It happens with that group, yes.
Wow.
But I'm not saying these drugs shouldn't be on the market. I'm saying doctors are overprescribing them. I'm saying that it's something you have to watch very carefully, and it should be for short-term use.
What do you recommend to patients that say, Dr. Samadi, I'm exhausted, I can't get a good night's sleep?
Well, I've had a lot of patients that ask me, can I have a prescription for Ambien? And this is not an attack on Ambien, but I always hesitate taking that prescription pad, and I'll talk to them a little bit to try to discourage them. If you understand how it works, and the fact that it works on the receptors in the brain, the GABA receptors, and slows down your entire central nervous system, you wouldn't be really touching it as much unless your doctor or you feel it's absolutely necessary. Look, these medications, they can cause some confusion, and if you're going to take them early on so the effect of it wears off by the time you are...
How many hours is that? Because they say if you get however many hours sleep, you'll wake up feeling completely refreshed.
The effect of it stays in your system for about 3 to 4 hours. So if you take it at 10, 11 o'clock, hopefully by the next day, you should be fine. But there are a lot of things you can do before you take these medications, such as melatonin. Melatonin, which is something that comes from serotonin, is a natural hormone that you can take to sleep better. You should try that first. A lot of magnesium-rich diets, cashew nuts, they are helping you with your sleep, and so I would try those. We've talked about tryptophan, around the turkey. Seafood, those have high tryptophan that can help with your sleep. I would try those before you go to Ambien.
One thing about melatonin, did you know that if you're just in a dark room or put a blindfold over your face, you're literally going to increase your own melatonin levels? Without taking it.
But Eric, a lot of things that Mark mentioned is critical, because I think what we do is people go to the gym half an hour before go to sleep. They have their Facebook and Twitters on their lap before the lights are on. So I think like fixing a lot of those issues should give you some help with your sleep.
All right, doctors, hold on a second.
Hey, why don't you just try smoking a joint, man? Here you had two doctors talking about Ambien. Isn't that nice? But they didn't cover the side effects. All medicines may cause side effects, but many people have no or minor side effects. Check with your doctor if any of these common side effects persist or become bothersome when using Ambien. Diarrhea, dizziness, drowsiness, including daytime drowsing. I thought the drug was supposed to make you sleep. Okay, anyhow, daytime drowsiness, drugged feeling, dry mouth, headache, nausea, nose or throat irritation, sluggishness, stomach upset, weakness. Seek medical attention right away if any of these severe side effects occur while using Ambien. Severe allergic reaction, rash, hives, itching, difficulty breathing, tightness in the chest, swelling of the hands, legs, mouth, face, lips, eyes, throat, or tongue. Throat closing, unusual hoarseness, abnormal thinking, behavior changes, chest pain, confusion, decreased coordination, difficulty swallowing or breathing, fainting, fast or irregular heartbeat, hallucinations, memory problems, mental or mood changes, new or worsening depression, severe dizziness, shortness of breath, suicidal thoughts or actions, vision changes. All right, the Information Nation has returned. I'm your host, Ken, on Orion Talk Radio, OrionTalkRadio.com, theinformationnation.com. We're in the last segment, so we're going to have to go through this stuff relatively quickly. Lexapro is the next one on the list. Why is this medication prescribed? Why are any of these medications prescribed? It's used for the treatment and generalized anxiety disorders, excessive worry and tension that disrupts daily life and lasts 6 months or longer. It's in a class of antidepressants called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. It works by increasing the amount of serotonin, a natural substance in the brain that helps maintain mental balance. You heard them on the clip talking about serotonin. It's a natural, your body naturally produces serotonin. Here we go again. All medicines may cause side effects, but many people have no or minor side effects. Check your doctor. If any of these most common side effects persist or become bothersome when using Lexapro. Constipation. That guy could see where that could be a problem. Decreased sexual desire or ability. That could be a problem. Diarrhea. That could be a problem. Dizziness, drowsiness, dry mouth, headache, increased sweating, lightheadedness when you stand up or sit, loss of appetite, nausea, stomach upset, tiredness, trouble sleeping. And these are the most common side effects. Then you also have severe and allergic reactions, rash, hives, itching, difficulty breathing, tightness in the chest, swelling of the mouth, face, lips, tongue, bizarre behavior, black or bloody stools, chest pain, confusion, decreased concentration, decreased coordination, fainting, fast, slow, or irregular heartbeat, hallucinations, memory loss, menstrual period changes, new or worsening agitation, panic attacks, aggressiveness, impulsiveness, irritability, hostility, exaggerated feelings of well-being, restlessness or inability to sit still, persistent or severe ringing in the ears, persistent, painful erection, red, swollen, blistered, peeling skin, seizures, severe dizziness, severe or persistent anxiety or trouble sleeping, severe or persistent headache, shortness of breath, stomach pain, suicidal thoughts or attempts, tremors, unusual bruising or bleeding, unusual or severe mental or mood changes, unusual weakness, vision changes, and worsening of depression. Have you noticed something with all of these drugs I've talked about tonight? They all have a problem. None of them are natural. But boy, those drug companies are making billions by telling you can't sleep. By telling you can sleep. You sleep too much. You don't sleep enough. You have a problem. But we've got a pill for that. And the last pill on our lovely list tonight, Vicodin. Vicodin contains a combination of acetaminophen and hydrocodone. Hydrocodone is in a group of drugs called opiate pain reliever, and opiate is sometimes called a narcotic. Acetaminophen is a less potent pain reliever that increases the efforts of hydrocodone. Vicodin is used to relieve moderate to severe pain. Vicodin is also used for purposes not listed in this medication guide, which is where I got the information from, was a medication guide. I didn't make this stuff up, people. This is coming your way. I find it interesting that they can prescribe you an opiate, but you can't smoke a joint. Vicodin, this applies to tablets, all medications, same disclaimer, all medications may cause side effects, but many people have no or minor side effects. Check with your doctor if any of the most common side effects persist or become bothersome when using Vicodin. Blurred vision, constipation, difficulty breathing, dizziness, drowsiness, flushing, lightheadedness, mental mood changes, nausea, vomiting. Seek medical treatment right away if any of these severe side effects occur when using Vicodin. Severe allergic reactions, rash, hives, itching, difficulty breathing, tightness in the chest, swelling of the mouth, face, lips, or tongue. Anxiety, change in the amount of urine, change or loss in hearing, fear, interrupted breathing, mental or mood changes, unusual tenderness. This is not a complete list of all side effects that may occur. If you have any questions about side effects, contact your medical provider. I seem to look at all of these things here and see that there are so many natural ways of treating these diseases, or whatever you want to call them. But they're all illegal. Because if they weren't illegal, these drugs would not be on the market. This is to protect big pharmaceuticals so they can make their profits at the expense of the American people, or any people for that matter, American, Canadian, Mexican, it doesn't matter to them, French, German, Italian, it doesn't matter. We'll just give you a drug. We'll give you a pill. We'll give you a happy pill. Don't feel good? We'll give you a pill. Feel too good? We'll give you a pill. Can't sleep? We'll give you a pill. Sleep too much? We'll give you a pill. You can't sleep. They told you in that clip that I played for you. You don't have to be taking drugs. There are certain things you can do yourself to calm yourself down, to calm your mind, to help you sleep. Just a change in your diet can do it. But no, we've got to go and take a pill that is overprescribed, and people are getting addicted to these things. Vicodin, people get addicted to Vicodin. It's a pain reliever. It's a narcotic. It's a gateway drug. Did I say that? I thought marijuana was a gateway drug. This is the problem that we have in this country. It's all about profit. Just from the short list that I read you, and believe me, there are thousands of drugs out there that I could have read from. We could have been here for the next 5 weeks just going over every cotton-picking drug that's out there. They are being pushed on the doctors, and the doctors in turn are being pushed on you. They're also being pushed on you because, like they said, when I was a kid growing up, there was no such thing as advertising drugs on radio or television. So when you went to the doctor, you had to rely on the doctor to prescribe the right medication for you and for the pharmacist to know what the hell he was doing. Today, you turn on TV and what have you got? Viagra, Cialis, Vicodin, this one, that one, the other one. Everything is a sell. Sell, sell, sell. So now you walk in and you tell your doctor what drug you think you should have. I think I should have about 3 pounds of... Never mind. The whole thing boils down to there are many natural ways to get the same effect as you can from these pharmaceuticals. They don't cost as much, and they're actually better for you because there are no side effects, or the side effect might be, maybe you have a bruise on your arm, and instead of taking a Vicodin for the pain, you rub something on it, and the biggest side effect is the fact that your arm is a little bit greasy. but you're not putting it into your system. You saw in some of the other drugs that I had mentioned on here about women, pregnant women, it may affect their child that they're carrying. Or if they are breastfeeding, it will affect the breast milk. What they're worried about is it getting into the breast milk and getting into the kid. Some of these drugs may be necessary. I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a physician. I'm not a chemist. But it just strikes me that there are a lot of natural things that could be done a lot better than what we have with these so-called pharmaceutical drugs. Before we go tonight, I got one more. You're going to love this one. Has nothing to do with drugs, or maybe it does. But a worker died today after being cooked in a tuna plant oven. Authorities say a 62-year-old employee was cooked to death at South California seafood plant for tuna maker Bumblebee Foods. The Whitney Daily News reported Jose Molina was found shortly after 7 a.m. in the plant in Santa Fe Springs. California Division of Occupational Safety and Health spokesman Erica Montezora says it's unclear how the man ended up inside a cooking device called a steamer machine. The State Department has launched an investigation into the accident. Somehow I don't think this was an accident. In a written statement, Bumblebee Food spokesman Pat Menke expressed condolences to Molina's family and says the operation at the canning facility will be suspended at the plant until Monday. How do you end up in a cooker? I don't know.